here with the panel. Chris Hahn, host of the Aggressive Progressive podcast. Lauren Wright, professor of politics and public affairs at Princeton University. And this is the first time I think we are seeing evidence that the Republicans have talked about. And you've always pointed out, where's the evidence? Where's the evidence? Here's the text message from Hunter in 2017 to a member of the Chinese Communist Party who he was in business with. I am sitting here with my father, and we would like to know why the commitment has not been filled. I will make certain that between the man sitting next to me, meaning his father, and every person he knows, and my ability to forever hold a grudge that will regret not following my direction, I am sitting here waiting for the call with my father.
Yeah, here's the problem with the evidence. It's a printout of a WhatsApp text from 2017.
That nobody has contested.
From 2017, actually, they have contested it. In 2017, when Joe Biden was not the president of the United States, he was not the vice president of the United States, and Hunter Biden was dealing with a serious drug problem. We don't know what he was sitting next to or what he was doing. So look, I wrote a column in Newsweek earlier this week about if this was a normal world, this would be the end of the Hunter Biden saga. He made a plea deal to a thing that most people don't ever get charged with, right? They make a civil penalty and they move on with their lives, especially a first-time offender like Hunter is in this situation. But we don't live in that world. We live in a political world right now where everything this man does is getting the highest of scrutinies by the right wing in this country, and it's sad.
To be fair, though, it's now starting to get scrutiny from the New York Times. Peter Baker, hardly a right-winger, was there hammering away at the White House on this, as was a number of the broadcast networks, not just Fox, not just Newsmax. And in fact, it got to the point that the John Kirby, who was there as the National Security Council coordinator, walked out of the briefing. Take a look.
No, and I'm not going to comment further on this.
We're good.
I'm not. James, let me save you some. Let me save you some breath. If you're going to ask about this, I am not addressing. I know you do more than I'd like you to have. I am not going to address this issue from this podium. I'm just not going to do it.
All right.
I'm not going to do it.
Where was the president on it?
Thank you. Thanks, guys. Have a great weekend.
I'm old enough to remember when saying I'm going to save you breath to the White House press corps was in some way attacking the First Amendment. But that be aside, here's the question, Lauren. There's a lot of people in the middle, I think, who would be interested if there was real proof.
Right. Of the president's wrongdoing.
Of the president's wrongdoing, right? We can all agree that Hunter Biden's got a lot of problems. If this text message is true, it's getting a lot closer to Joe Biden, and it's a lot harder to believe and to stand by the statement Joe Biden was never involved in any of Hunter's dealings.
It's very hard to defend, and Hunter's lawyer made a similar point to what Chris just did, which is he was in the throes of addiction at this time. In other words, we don't even know if Joe Biden was sitting there or not, and that's pretty thin. The White House can take this "I'm not talking about it" approach until the last minute that Hunter actually signs the plea deal, or there's the decision about this gun charge, which is still a little bit up in the air. But not much longer than that. They do need a much more consistent response. And so far, you're right. What we know is Hunter Biden engaged in illegal activity, at least enough for him to admit to it. The questions about the president's involvement, there still isn't a smoking gun. But what all the publications you mentioned have said today is we're getting closer to that.
Yeah, no, we're getting closer to that link.
As far as journalists go, right?
And this isn't the only thing that this whistleblower has said, Chris. And I'm wondering, at what point do Democrats say, and look, I admire you to be willing to come on here and defend this and say he's in the throes of the addiction.
Yeah.
But at some point, it becomes thinner and thinner. Every scandal in Washington is, what did the president know and when did he know it? And saying I wasn't the president at the time doesn't account for I never talked to my son about his business dealings.
Well, it does when it comes to the fact, did the president use the power of his office to influence some foreign deal, which is what the Republicans are actually trying to charge him with, right?
Yep.
And he wasn't president in 2017. And being close to a smoking gun is not necessarily being a smoking gun, right? We're starved in this world for a both sides issue with, the Republican nominee is clearly a criminal. We got to make the Democratic nominee have some sort of problem, too. And that's why the New York Times is engaged in this.
Thanks for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to subscribe. Click the red button
to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.